Hey everyone, and welcome to the Don't Overthink It podcast. I am your host, Donnie. I am here with my co-host, Irish, Fighting Irish.
What's up?
And this podcast is where we're going to break down sports, video games, and whatever else is on the table. We will have opportunities for um, chats, live chat going. So if you have any questions, we can answer the questions right then and there. Um, let's get started. First, I would like to introduce myself. Like I said, my name's Donnie. I am new to this, so we're gonna take it one episode at a time. My co-host here is Fighting Irish, and he's been streaming for a while, and I'll let him introduce himself and get his stuff out there.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Irish, and I've been streaming to Twitch and YouTube for probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 months. And so far, it's been a learning experience. So, my friend here, Donnie, hit me up with this idea, wanted to do this. I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea. So, I'm kind of looking forward to, what this can be. I hope to see a bunch of you in the chats and answering as many questions as we can. We'll try to touch as many topics as we can, and then we'll just go from there. Like Donnie said, take it one episode at a time. Donnie?
So let's go ahead and hit our first segment of the topic. Just kind of introducing ourselves to the community that's going to be coming in. I thought it would be a good idea, just kind of a way to get people to have somewhere to talk. If they have something on their mind from the stressful day at work. A lot of people need a vent and get things off their chest. A lot of people don't have that place to turn. A lot of people have questions about gaming, a lot of advice on how to do different things. And along with that, we're going to have different people in here who stream live in gaming and also who do um, just a variety of different people coming in and out, hopefully. And then hopefully at that point we can answer questions a little more technical with their expertise um, being played into it. Yeah, that's what we're gonna be about. Like I said, we got a lot of different things we talk about. Sports, not just the professional sports. We go to high school, college. There's a couple people we can bring in that have the experience in the high school and college coaching levels and analytics. So we're gonna touch base with them. Video gaming. We got a lot of people who do a lot of video gaming that are going to be coming in here. So, like I said before, whatever else is on your mind. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them as best we can. If not, we have a lot of resources that can help you get those questions answered. Irish.
Yeah, man, that sounds pretty good. Um, like Donnie said, over time, we'll try to gain some people in here that can come in from different backgrounds and fields. Just kind of go over the common questions that most people just don't even know about or don't even think to ask really. To kind of pick their brain and see what it's like in their certain industries or whatever it is that they do, whether it's from streaming to YouTube or Twitch or Kick or whoever, to you know mental health workers to firefighters, lawyers. It doesn't matter. We're open to talk to anybody, and just kind of give a little platform to people, like Donnie said, to come and just relax and express themselves and their concerns and anything that may be bothering you or anything that is a topic that you like to learn about. And that's just kind of what we want to do. I feel like it's a good idea, and there's plenty of them out there, and we're just hoping to be able to gain traction and bring some peace and love to the world. So I'm kind of excited. I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully we can get this that ball rolling. And let's do it, Donnie. I'm ready, brother.
Sounds good. So I'm gonna ask. I mean, we can ask each other questions. So I'm gonna ask you a question real quick, Irish, and a lot of people who probably never done it or thinking about doing it, and what's it like to stream live on in front of a major. I know I follow you, I play with you on live, but what's it like starting that off? What's it like to be in
Um,
that platform?
it's definitely stressful, especially first starting out. I'm still very, very small time compared to a lot of these other, well-established streamers with thousands of subscribers and viewers at one given time, all talking in chat at the same time. I can only imagine what that's like, considering what it's like for me with, a tenth of what they got. So it's definitely stressful, but it's definitely fun too. And I feel like if anybody wants to do it, then just do it. I'm no professional at any of these games that I play. I do it for the fun and the camaraderie of my friends that I play with, and just to have a good time. People come in to chat. I've gotten to know a bunch of people through this community, and I'm grateful for a lot of them. And it's just been awesome. So I feel like anybody out there that is looking to do it or ever wanted to do it, just do it. It's not that hard. You don't necessarily need a lot of equipment to, get going. If you have a PC, you can do it from that. If you got a console, you can do it from that. So I feel like it's just, if it's something that you want to do, just do it. It's really fun to do, but it can be stressful and deterring at a way. I've even battled it with myself where I'm like, dude, I'm just going to stop. But, but you just got to keep going. You're not going to gain countless subscribers overnight. You got to put in the work, and eventually that stuff happens. So yeah, and I know you do the high school coaching, dude. That's something I've always, I'm a huge college football fan anyway, and I've always I wouldn't necessarily say it was a dream job, but it's always been I feel like a cool job to have, to be any type of athletic coach, especially football. So I wonder what, pick your brain on what that's like, dude, because I'm sure that's probably a high intense pressure at times too.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. A lot of it comes with having a good head coach who knows what he's doing, and um, something that they call trusting the process, believing in the process. Um, Having a new head coach come in and lay their stuff down and their expectations, and you got to be able to meet those expectations before the season even begins. It's very stressful. But yeah, I've been coaching high school football since 2018. I kind of took this year off a little bit because of work related stuff, but hopefully next year I can get back into it full time and continue on doing it. But yeah, the stressful situations, um, and it's intense. I've been in games where we play 11 man, and I've gone to a game with 16 boys, and we've come out on top, winning that game with only 16 boys, and the other team has 20 to 30 boys on their team. So my boys have been playing Ironman football for a while, and seeing their success is really really good. It brings me success. Seeing them succeed brings me success. So it
Yeah,
knows that
yeah.
I'm helping these boys.
I'm sure it's inspirational. Really, it has to be. I would think. Being a fan of, like I said, mostly college football. Just the traditions and the rivalries and all that type of stuff, and just the way you get amped up a home game with the student body and all that type of stuff. I'm sure the adrenaline is probably like intense. So yeah, being on the coaching level of it, I'm sure I can only imagine like the type of pressure that comes with that, dude, and trying to inspire these kids to go out there, give it their all and all that stuff like that. That's admiration, dude. That's awesome that you do that, dude.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing. When you're on the winning side, it's a lot easier than it is when you're on the losing side. The first season I had as a high school coach, we went 0 and 10. We did not win a game that season. And then the following season, we went in 0 and 7. And then after that, I think we went like 7 and 2 or 8 and 2. The following season, region champions, and then of our district. And then the week after that, we went 10 and 1, and then 10 and 1, 11 and 1 the following season. After that, and then the season, not this year but last year, we went again 11 and 1 with the region champion three times. So we had a three-peat on our regions. But this past year, the team that I was with, they didn't really have very much success in that category with a new coach, a new system coming in. But yeah, the team that I was with, they uh they got a lot of talent, and that talent's gonna be coming back next year, so they have a bright future. So
Nice.
something that I've been wondering about. I talked to you throughout the games, throughout your games and stuff, and um, what inspired you to do the gaming? What inspired you to get on
As far as like streaming or just the game in general?
streaming? Well, I guess both, a little bit of both actually. I mean, because
Well,
you have to have that drive to play the game, and then you have to have that influence to stream, correct?
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, as far as the gaming goes, I mean, I've been doing that since I was a small kid with the Nintendo. I mean, so I've always been a gamer. And then, when Call of Duty came out. This was back in, I would say, Halo 3 days when Modern Warfare, the first Call of Duty 4 dropped. I switched over to start playing Modern Warfare, loved it. And a bunch of my friends that I played at the time were still over on Halo, and I was trying to convince them to come over. And finally Halo kind of died down, and they came over, and we just been on Call of Duty ever since. And I really never really even considered streaming as a thing as far as when it came to gameplay. I had no knowledge of it. I didn't really keep up with anybody that did it. I didn't even know it was a thing. I mean, I knew there were YouTubers out there, but I always, when somebody told me YouTube, I always considered it as where you go and watch music videos, or if there were YouTubers, it was those influencer, Logan Paul, Jake Paul type guys. I never even knew there was a whole side of it that was based off of just some watching people play a video game. So it was probably like maybe it was after I went through cancer, got done with chemo, the current version, well, not the current version, but the DMZ Modern Warfare 2 came out, and the friends that I played with from way back in the Halo days, I still played with. They were on DMZ, and I got back on once I beat all that. Got back on, and that's what we started doing. And I played it like that for quite quite a long time. And then I discovered, I think Demon was the first one. DMZ Demon was the first streamer, like game player that I ever knew, and that's only because I landed in a lobby with him. And one of the guys I was playing with was like, "Oh my god, dude, that dude's a YouTube streamer." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he's a YouTube streamer." So I looked him up, started following him, and then through him, I found pretty much everybody else. So then I got to become friends with a bunch of these people and play games with them. And, I just kind of like slowly, gradually started leaning towards, man, I should do this too. It seems fun. So that's what I did. I started over on Twitch. I got affiliated over there, and I wanted to do the same thing with YouTube. So now I stream to YouTube as well. So that's how it all started, dude. All because DMZ Demon killed me in a Sheikah one time. Had that never happened, I don't know. I may not have met a bunch of you guys.
Honestly, that sounds pretty exciting. I think I've been killed by him once or twice too.
Matter of fact, it was him
Yeah,
and Perf together that game, and they killed us
yeah,
in the
he's
castle. They killed us in the
he's
castle on Ashika, and I was like, I don't know who this dude is, but holy smokes! And the guy's like, he's a streamer. So I looked him up.
yeah, he's a pretty good player. I watched some of his videos and stuff, and he's really good.
Oh yeah,
A lot of those guys that you mentioned, Perf and DMZ Demon, they're really really good. Really good gamers.
oh yeah, for
So
sure. And they had huge followings, and a lot of these dudes, man, you know, a lot of them are really good people and humbled. I mean, look at Lando, for instance. Dude has, I think, like well over 5,000 subscribers. I mean, and to some people that's nothing, but in the gaming community, that's pretty massive following. And he's as humble as anybody I've ever met. He's down to earth. He don't look down on people, and that's cool. And he's uplifting to people like me who just starting, and I just literally broke 100 subscribers a couple of days ago on YouTube. And I just, I find a lot of these dudes to be, genuine good people who care about the genre of streaming, as a whole and not trying to hold others down, trying to uplift everybody. Because if I win, you win, so on, that whole aspect of it. So I think that's pretty cool. And I hope to do the same thing, throughout my time. If I ever do get to be as big as some of these dudes, bring up these smaller guys with me, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So you said that you hit over 100 subscribers. That's intense right there.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know how hard it is to get subscribers to subscribe to their channels or even get their likes. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely to the average person who don't know anything about it, that's just 100 people. That's nothing in the grand scheme of things. But to the person, to a person that's starting out, that's a milestone, you know, that's not easy to get. I mean, it took me, I don't know, several months to get to 100. So I can only imagine where some of these dudes have several thousands, how long that took. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you know, something I'm proud of for sure.
So the first streamer that I've ever known I've ran into was Lando, and that was during the last year the Halloween theme
Yeah, yeah,
on Amazra, and we were over at Force the PvP or Force Stack, one of the two, and he ended up killing me and my team that I was with, and he said he would get us up if we sang a song, and I believe you can look it up on YouTube, and we were sitting there and the my teammates were sitting there singing songs. There, it was a Christmas song. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a Christmas song. And because they sang the song, we were able to get up and continue on playing. And then he goes down over by um oh, what is that gas station? I don't know the map. I don't ever play on Mazra, so I don't know the map that well. But he goes down, and I end up having to. I don't have to, but I go over and pick him up because he picked me up, so
yeah.
and he ends up saving us, and we end up exfilling that game. So it was a
Well, that's
pretty
pretty.
pretty good game. That's how I ran into him. Is he killed me too?
Yeah, that's usually the way you find a bunch of these people like that. Is firsthand experience. Like I say, because I never even knew it was a thing, dude. I mean, I just had no knowledge of any gaming streamers out there. So I just never really thought to even look into it or even knew it was something possible that I could even do until I ran into Demon that day. And I just decided, hey man, I'm just gonna do it. So I did it. I mean, it's like I was saying earlier. I feel like that it should be that way. If you have like a desire to want to do it, whether it be streaming to YouTube or getting that job at your local whatever, then just go for it. But you won't never know whether if you could be successful or not if you don't never try for it. So I say go for it.
And honestly, that's kind of like today. This is our first episode of the Don't Overthink It. And it came to me a couple months ago, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I got a little bit of extra time on my hands. Let me do something. I want to do something. And and it kind of, and I'm not any good at gaming. I'm by no means am I good at the game. And I thought about doing that, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then this way, you know, we can still meet people, we can still network, different things like that. So I was like, well, what about a podcast? We can do a podcast. And then I started looking into different things and getting my stuff set up, and um, I could just I in the process of it, I could feel people saying like, that's never going to happen. He's shooting for the stars right there. And where that comes in. If you have a passion to do something, just go and do it. And that's kind of what I did with this podcast. I just kind of like went and jumped in forward, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this on my own. Started reaching out to people, and I noticed that one of the guys who's actually in producer mode right now, Optimistic, he helped me with the logo and the music that we're gonna be playing on this and stuff. So it was all him that put everything together on that part of it, and he's giving advice and stuff throughout the months. But I've been picking his brain for about a month and a half of different things. So yeah, I agree. If it's something that you're passionate about, if it's something that you want to do, go ahead and go do it. No matter It's going to be a struggle starting off it, so you're going to have questions, but you know, you don't know
Yeah,
how successful you're going to be until you go and get it done.
exactly, bro. And I'm pretty sure that's the case with anybody in any field that they go to in the beginning. They have them people around them that are probably saying, dude, it's not worth it. You'll never make it. So don't even try it. And, there's some of the most successful people in the world now. And I'm sure there in other cases, there are people that just have raw talent and are going to make it no matter what. But I guarantee you, even in them instances, there's still people around them that are trying to convince them not to do it. And they followed their dreams or their aspirations or whatever and did it anyway. And now look at them. So I mean, I think that's just important to do what you feel like is your calling or whatever it is that you want to, or something not even necessarily a career wise. It could be just something you're passionate about to do as a little side thing, just to kind of have fun or experience things or whatever. Go for it. That's the way I look at it. So yeah, I remember you bringing it up to me. I don't know, it's been a while back about doing this, and I think it was during one of the streams or whatever. You were in the chat talking about it. I think I had Dan with me, and we were both like, "Yeah, man, do it, go for it, do it, go for it." And here we are now. So yeah, I'm glad you decided to just say, "Screw it, I'm going to do it, man." And I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, to be honest, there's a lot of nerves coming into this. A lot of nerves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because of the fear of judgment, or the pressure of knowing you have people listening to you, and or and then also the fear of it not getting traction and not going anywhere, so then it was just kind of time wasted or whatever. But dude, nothing is time wasted. It's time wasted is if you had this passion to do it for a long time and never done it. Then I would consider that time wasted, because you could have done it. You possibly could have gained traction. You possibly could have been a success, but you would have never known because you never attempted to try it. And as far as judgment goes, that's going to happen no matter what. Walking into the grocery store, that's going to happen. So, yeah, man, sometimes you just kind of got to push through that, adversity or whatever, and just kind of go. And then with hope and strive and pray for the best, and then just do it. That's all you can do is just do it. Yeah, but I'm kind of excited about looking forward to possibly getting like some people up here that, I don't want to say interview, but kind of like just talk with and pick their brain on, you know, certain different topics or whatever. I think that's going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is gonna be interesting because like I said, I have a couple people in mind of who I could ask, but just different, matter of opinions from everybody. It just kind of depends on who we have in that week, and we'll see where it goes. Just see what's in people's minds, see what's going on with their stories and stuff.
Yeah,
So
man, because everybody's got one. Everybody's got a story, and I'm sure they're all unique in its own self. But I find it interesting to learn about people like just anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be any major celebrity or public figure or whatever. Just local mailman, dude. He's got a story, or she's got a story. So I mean, yeah, I like talking to people. So this is like right up my alley, bro. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sitting here trying to think of questions.
Are you a college football fan?
Kind of. I watch the University of Arizona, the U of A Wildcats. That's where I watch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it makes sense considering your home state or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of ASU. I've never been a fan of ASU. I don't know why. They just never clicked in my head. Do you follow anybody? Any college sports?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, first
Uh-huh.
of all, which is kind of weird considering I'm from Texas. I mean, most of my family are all either Longhorn fans or TCU fans, which I like TCU. I don't care about the Longhorns at all, but for some reason I landed with Notre Dame, and I've just been a Notre Dame fan as long as I can remember. I also late, last couple of, I'd say maybe 10 years or so, from having gone to that area several times on vacation, is I've become a Tennessee Volunteer fan. I really like them. I like their atmosphere. I like their fan base. I like their stadium, their traditions and all that. so cool. So yeah, I'm kind of like spread all over the place. I don't fit your average mold of, oh, I'm from this state, I like this team. No, I'm also, like I said, from Texas. I don't like the Texas Rangers baseball team. I'm a New York Yankees fan. And NFL, I'm from Texas. I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. Uh, I'm more of like whoever's on my fantasy team is my favorite NFL team. I don't have no one specific team.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I like the University of Arizona, but don't know why. It's just somebody that's been they're just a team, basketball, softball, baseball, football, just whatever, they just seem to click inside my head. When someone mentions college sports is the first team I think of, so I decided to run with them. Baseball, Major League Baseball, I'd have to say the Boston Red Sox. I know you're yeah, that's bad blood right there.
Yeah.
And then I've been a long time Denver Broncos fan, so yep.
I mean,
I
for
don't
many
necessarily
years,
root for the Cardinals and stuff, but yeah.
for many years, I liked the Saints because I liked Drew Brees as a person and a quarterback, so I rooted for them. But then he retired. I'm like, oh, I don't really know, man. And of course, you got your people that are around you who have their team to try to persuade you to join. Hey, man, you should. Like I have several friends that were Patriots fans, Cowboy fans, and I'm like, no, dude. As far as NFL goes, it's whoever's on my fantasy football team is who I root for. I don't care what team they actually play for. I just care that they do good on my fantasy team because I've always been more of a college sports type of fan than I have ever been any kind of professional league fan.
Speaking of professional sports, did you know that the Yankees, you know the Yankees are in a World Series, right?
Yeah, they're down too, but that's okay.
So I was talking to somebody earlier today, one of the streamers that I watch, um, he thinks the Yankees are gonna take game three.
Yeah, they're playing in New York, I believe, for the next 2 or 3 games. So hopefully they win them. Hopefully they win it all. That'd be great. Like I said, I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm not no diehard fan because I'm just not a big time follower of the sport. So if they don't, it's fine. If they do, that's wonderful. It's not going to make or break me. Like I said, I'm more of a college athletics fan than I am anything else. Primarily football. I do follow college basketball some, but I'm more just a college football fan. The rest of them is just kind of like, yeah, they're cool. I like them, but whatever. So I don't really fall into the traps of people who want to try to talk down. Like I was in somebody's chat the other day who were saying the Dodgers won, and then bragging about it and talking junk to me because they knew I was rooting for the Yankees. I'm like, I don't really care, bro. It don't really bother me. Now when Notre Dame loses, that's rough,
Didn't they?
bro.
I
We
might be
had
thinking of
we had one of the
last
worst
year.
losses ever this year.
Probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it was a close game, wasn't it?
Oh no, well, I mean, I guess, but not necessarily considering who it was. We should have blew them out of the water, but
Wasn't it like Virginia Tech or something like that, or Appalachian
nah,
State or something?
nah, that might have been a couple years back. But this year it was NIU of all places,
That's right. I
who
remember
who
hearing about that.
we were like favored to beat them by like God's amounts of points or whatever, and they came to Notre Dame and beat us. And we paid them like I don't know how many millions of dollars to come to Notre Dame and play us, and they beat us. It was embarrassing, bro. Hurt. That one hurt, but you know
That
that's just
that
that's the
just
way it goes sometimes.
that just goes to show you can never underestimate your opponent.
Oh yeah,
Never
it
underestimate
happens.
your opponent.
Every year, dude, in every sport, it doesn't matter. There's always that underdog that is counted out that shocks the world. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, just take fighting for example, UFC or boxing or whatever. That man, there's a history of that stuff where the small guy is counted out and never even given a chance, comes in there and dominates. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I see a bunch of these people that freak out on videos on YouTube because this team lost and they destroy their TVs, and I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? It's not that serious, man.
You just imagine breaking $1,000 TV on a game over a
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
I
no, I
couldn't do
won't.
that.
I
I
won't.
couldn't afford to pay for replace that TV.
I mean, it sucks when your team, whoever it may be, loses. Of course, but it's serious, dude. Now, if you got if you're like a gambler, which is a bad habit to have, but if you are one and you have like a huge amount of money on the line, then okay, I can understand you might be a little freaked out. But to the average, everyday fan who just watches it for the love of the team, to act the way they do sometimes is crazy to me. But I feel like so far this year, to me, the best college moment was when Vanderbilt beat Alabama. Bro, that's going to live in the storybooks for the rest of our history.
Yeah, so there's something that I wanted to bring up now when you mentioned it earlier. So have you ever seen Virginia Tech's entrance into the
Yeah,
stadium?
yeah. Yeah, that's one of the best of all time.
Dude, I get chills every time I watch that.
Yeah,
Every
me and
single
my
time I watch that, I get chills.
speaking of this, right? My daughter, my youngest daughter, the other night, I was showing her like a top 10 compilation of college football's best entrances or whatever, and we were watching this video, and it had, of course, it had them up there, and it had the Volunteers up there, and Clemson, and a bunch of these schools that have these traditions of having these crazy, entrances or whatever. But Virginia Tech, to me, in my opinion, the top three would be Virginia Tech, Florida State, and Tennessee Volunteers.
So I agree with you on the Tennessee, and I agree with you on the Virginia Tech. My third one would have to be, I'd have to say Clemson.
Yeah, I mean Clemson is okay, but all they do is just run down the hill.
How many coaches or how many people can you get run down a hill like that and not trip?
Oh, that's impressive. I'm no lie, but I mean to
That's
to be better than that, chief Indian chief on the horse with the spear on fire and all that stuff like that, and chop and I mean, dude, that's crazy.
Oh, you're talking about the Seminoles. I thought you were talking about like the Gators.
Oh no
No.
no no, the
Yeah, okay.
Seminole.
So that's up there, but that's up there. That's up there. Okay, yeah. The Denver did something like that a couple years back with I think it was a cheerleader on there. I think.
Denver, the Broncos did something like that.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing it where they had a couple people run across the field with I think.
Yeah, but to me, I think the Florida State one, the Virginia Tech one, and then the Tennessee's, the old Rocky Top coming. Those are the best there is. I wouldn't say like the best traditions because there's a lot of schools that have some really cool traditions. But as far as entrances into the stadium, those are my top three. And I'm a Notre Dame fan, but their entrance not really that impressive, dude.
I've never really paid any much attention to Notre Dame's entrance.
It's not. I mean, there's nothing to it really. They just run out there. They got the band on the field, of course, and they're playing the fight song, and then they have the cheerleaders, make out the letter ND for Notre Dame or whatever, and then they come out there. I mean, they over the years they've experimented and had some pretty cool moments where, they would have some music playing or whatever. But I would say like to be, you know, where it's something they've done for certain, certain amount of times for however many years, they're definitely not on anybody's top 10 list. Maybe not even top 50 list. When you got places like Virginia Tech with Metallica, and then the Seminoles with the and then Rocky Top with Tennessee, and then you got there's one school I can't think of who it is now that plays jump jump or jump around, I think it is, or something like that. Can't think of who the team is though, but it was in that video I was watching with my daughter. Pretty cool, man. That's why I like college athletes. I mean, just think about this: college sports stadiums and coliseums hold more fans than any professionals stadiums do.
Yeah, they're definitely bigger. I think that's because of like school wise and stuff. And if I remember correctly, the one that you're talking about, I think it was Wisconsin that does that.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, yeah, I think it is.
I think it's Wisconsin that does that.
And the whole entire stadium is jumping. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I
You
think
gotta.
it's like I
Can
saw
you?
like a statistic on it where I think like the top four out of the top 10 stadium as far as capacity goes are belong to college football teams in the United States.
Yeah, that's insane. Can you imagine how sturdy those have to be in order to hold that kind of pressure with that many people jumping around on it.
Oh yeah, for sure. They said that it even registered on the seismograph because, one time because so many people were jumping and it was making such an impact. That's wild, dude.
Yeah, that is. So I don't mean to steer away from college football because college football is fun. Fun to watch, fun to talk about. Um, but what's and I know we're on complete different sides of the country. What's a current event that's going on in your area? And it could be like weather, it could be just different things
uh,
like that.
I
What's
mean, I live in North Carolina, and right now the weather's getting kind of chilly. It ain't cold, but it ain't warm either. But as far as like events go, I'm not really sure. I know we have our state fair in town for like I think it lasts like 10 days, or whatever. Which around here that's a pretty big deal. And then we have a couple of coliseums or whatever. I'm sure there's probably concerts and comedy shows and et cetera going on. I just I don't follow any of it, so I really don't know. And then of course you have the whole election thing ramping up here. You seeing all the signs out and you getting all the flyers in the mail, just like I'm sure everybody else in America is. So that's a big thing that's going on pretty much everywhere, I'm sure. So yeah, that's about it.
so I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't really follow a lot of the current events that are going on. I probably should start looking into those things, but I'm not exactly sure what's going on in this area. I do know that there's a lot of trunk or treats going on because Halloween is just a couple days away and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of
Is that
trunk
a
or
big
treats
thing
going
in your
on.
area where a lot of people like, decorate and all that stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Actually, we have this one lady who just lives up the road from me who decorates her house. I mean, she goes all out. I mean, Christmas, Halloween. She just has all these big old decorations and stuff outside of her house and stuff. I wonder if she's somebody that I can talk to get on just to kind of like yeah, she's a good friend of mine. I've known her for quite some time and met her while I was on the fire department so many years ago and she she does her yard so well every year. Just different ornaments and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I feel like
it's
my in
it's
my area, well, in my neighborhood anyway, I'm sure there's probably places in my city that, probably go all out, but in my particular neighborhood I live in, it's not really so much that big a deal for Halloween. I mean, you'll have a house here and there who will have some decorations or whatever. It's mostly Christmas though. Christmas, pretty much every house out here is going to be, lit up with inflatables or Christmas lights or something like that.
yeah, yeah, no, she does that every year. She goes and she decorates it really nice. She also puts on um what they call Santa's runway. And her and another lady have been doing that the past couple of years where they get the white paper sacks and they put candles in them and they line them up down Main Street. And my town's not that big. My town's maybe it's actually about 3 miles long by like a mile and a half wide. So we live in a really small town, and they line up the whole Main Street with thousands of bags with the little candles inside of them that light it up, and they call it Santa's Runway, and that's where he supposedly he comes down and lands there, and does
No,
this
that's
thing
pretty
with the
cool though.
gifts and stuff. So it's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice to have little, traditions like that. Like I'm
Yeah, that
sure,
that's
but I live in like in a major city, so little things like that may happen in certain little subdivisions or something like that. But as far as like citywide, not much of that stuff goes on because everybody's on the hustle and bustle. I live in the state capital of North Carolina, Raleigh, so it's just international airport here, people in and out for business and all that type of stuff. Bunch of traffic and highways and so I'm sure in certain areas, in certain little neighborhoods and subdivisions, you might have little traditions like that. But as far as like as a citywide thing, nah, I don't know of anything like that. But that's cool though. I like that.
yeah. No, we don't even have a stoplight in our
Oh
our
wow,
town.
bro, that's crazy.
It's pretty small. I guess it's what you would consider a one horse town.
There when I hear towns like that, dude, I think back to like the old days, how it used to be way back in the day. And I was watching this video one day about like old forgotten laws that are still laws. They're just not upheld anymore. I mean, some of
Yeah.
them are some of them are crazy, dude. Like an ice cream sandwich in your back pocket is against the law in some places. you can't let your horse eat the fire hydrant. And I'm like, what in the world? What were they doing? What were they doing back then? But there's this one town in Tennessee. I don't know the name of it anymore, but it was like one of the tiny little small towns to where there's like a cross section in the dirt road where when you come to it, you got to get out of your wagon, fire your rifle in the air twice before crossing it. I'm like, dude, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. But if you look it up, it's still technically a law today. It's just not enforced anymore, of course.
Most places you can get arrested for discharging your firearm in public.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can do that here too. I mean, you can't do it within a certain amount of footage of a home or business or anything like that. Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
we've come up on about 45 minutes we've been
That's
on.
crazy. Don't even seem like
Is
that long,
there
dude.
No, not really. Is there anything you wanna leave with the viewers or the listeners?
I mean, I'm just excited, dude. I mean, excited. I think this is a great idea, and I'm sure it's not the first person to have this idea, obviously, but I think it's a good idea to do in a community that we're coming from. I think it's a good idea, and I'm looking forward to especially with these hosting other people on. I think that's going to be so much fun, and so I hope to get some get some followers and get some input and help us guide us along the way because we're new to this too. So it's just a learning experience for us. We're going to try to take it day by day, and you know just hope people that can see that and see our passion and desire to want to do this and stick through the learning curve with us to get us to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope we can we can move forward in a positive direction. Something that I want to leave with the listeners is I read this the other day on Twitter. Um, it was left by Robert Griffin III, RG3. Um, this says always have confidence in what you bring to the table. Your secret sauce is you. So I think that's something that everybody can relate to, no matter what you're doing, whether it's a podcast, whether it's going out and playing a sport, or whether it's learning to drive or read a book. It's a lot of people have self-esteem issues and they feel not very confident in what they do. So I think that reaches out to everybody.
Yeah, that's good, man. I think finding inspiration in things, whether it be your appearance or your favorite athlete or whoever it is, dude, is a very important thing. And one of my favorite quotes of all time comes from Kurt Cobain, where it's I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. So just always be yourself. Is that the moral of that story? And I think that's what everybody should do is just be themselves. I mean, and be who you are. Unapologetically, don't be rude and hateful to people, but at the same time, be who you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, with that, I'd like to wrap up the show, wrap up the episode for today. Remember to follow us on YouTube. I'm gonna be posting these to YouTube. The Don't Overthink It podcast is what it's called, and we'll see you here shortly. Again,
All
be
right,
safe out
everybody.
there and take care.